Hey, what's up guys? It's Rick with the Digital Divide, and today is October 1st. It's officially the beginning of spooky season, which is my favorite time of the year. So I decided to make a new series that I'm going to do once a year on October 1st, where I recommend some really great Halloween or horror-themed video games, movies, comic books to check out. And we're going to get started with video games. I'm going to highlight some video games that came out recently or are coming out soon. The first one I want to talk about here is Silent Hill F. This looks incredible. It just came out on September the 25th. It's got a really cool tone to it based on all the trailers I've seen so far. I don't think Konami has ever made a bad Silent Hill game. This one is unique because it's the first one that takes place in Japan. I think all of the other ones took place in the US. So I can't wait to check this one out. Here's a little bit of footage from that. The next game I want to talk about is Chronos: The New Dawn. This released on September the 5th, 2025, and this released on everything: PlayStation 5, Xbox, and Switch, as well as PC. Now, if you're not familiar with the team, this is the same team that made the Silent Hill 2 remake that came out last year, which was really, really good. Here's a little bit of that.
Who brought the change to the world of people? They didn't have much time. What happened here?
The orphans grow even stronger as they merge. Efficiency discipline is recommended.
The next game I want to talk about is Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. This one is releasing on October the 21st, 2025, and we've been waiting a very, very, very long time for this game. If you're not familiar with the franchise, it started off as a board game called Vampire the Masquerade that came out in 1991, and that was followed up by a video game called Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, which came out in 2004. So it's been almost 20 years since we've seen a game in this series, and this one looks really interesting. It's kind of a quasi-open world design here. It takes place from a first-person perspective. You have a bunch of unique clans and classes to play as. You have a bunch of cool vampire powers you can use. Now, I would be lying if I didn't say I was a little bit concerned about this game just because of how long it's been in development, but hopefully it turns out well, and I'm very, very excited to check it out. We don't have too long to wait here for this one. Next game I want to talk about is Alien Rogue Incursion Evolved Edition. So this is an Alien game that takes place in the first person. This is a VR game. I think it originally came out on the Quest 3, but was recently released on the PlayStation 5 and PC on September 30th. This one looks interesting.
Xenomorphs. Deadly. Relentless. Unstoppable. If they reach Earth, humanity ends.
Next game I want to talk about is Little Nightmares 3. This is a long-running series But this one is unique because it's introducing co-op for the first time. So you can play through the entire game with a friend if you want to. These games are really creepy. They take place from an overhead perspective, and it's kind of like a marionette, kind of like a stop motion look. Here's a little bit of that. Next game I want to talk about is Tormented Souls 2. This one is releasing October 23rd, 2025. This is, as you can guess by the name, a sequel to Tormented Souls. If you're not familiar with that game, these are low-budget games. So they're very low-budget games, and they're meant to emulate the old-school Resident Evil games that came out on the PlayStation 1. So the graphics aren't the best in the world, and the gameplay is a little bit clunky. It uses like the tank controls from those games, but this is like a love letter to like 90s horror games. So if you grew up playing Resident Evil, you'll probably get some enjoyment out of this. Again, it is low budget and the voice acting is not the best, but the gameplay is solid, the puzzles are fun, and I think the first game is on sale right now for like $5. So next we're going to move on to movies and TV. So there's a bunch of really, really great horror content that's come out this year, and it is spooky season, so if you're in the mood for something cool to watch, the first recommendation I have here is Marvel Zombies. This released September 24th, 2025. I think all of the episodes, I think there's 4 or 5 of them, they all released at the same time, and I loved this show. It is very, very R-rated, which was a huge surprise to me because I did not think that Marvel would have the guts to release an R-rated animated project on Disney Plus, but they did, and it's really, really good. I binged watch every episode back to back. That's how much I enjoyed it. Some of my friends and family didn't enjoy it quite as much as I did, but I loved it. Again, I'm a huge sucker for horror, and this features Blade heavily, which is one of my favorite Marvel characters. The next movie I want to talk about here is Weapons. This released August 8th, 2025 in theaters, but it is now available to rent if you want to see it that way. This movie is absolutely incredible. It's the best horror movie I've seen this year. Here's a little bit from that.
This is a true story that happened in my town. So this one Wednesday is like a normal day for the whole school. But today was different. Every other class had all their kids. But Mrs. Gandy's room was totally empty. And you know why? Because the night before, at 2:17 in the morning, every kid woke up, got out of bed, walked downstairs, and into the dark. And they never came back.
I don't understand at all. Why just her classroom? Why only hers?
Where are our children?
We have a lot of emotional parents here. I think it's best if you keep some distance from this place.
Matthew, where are you? Where did you go?
This is where the story really starts.
Now, I want to quickly mention that the guy who directed Weapons, he also directed a movie called Barbarian. If you have not seen it, it is just as good, if not better, than Weapons. Definitely check it out. The next movie, though, that I want to talk about that came out this year was Sinners. This is a vampire movie that released on April the 18th, 2025. I absolutely loved it. But I'm a huge horror fan, and I'm specifically a big vampire fan. So this is right up my alley. And it takes place in kind of like a Western setting back in the day, which again, I love because they're just isolated in this building and they have no way to escape. And all of these monsters come at them. And it's so good. If you haven't seen it, definitely give this one a try. The next movie I want to talk about is called The Gorge. This released this year, February 14th, 2025. It fell underneath the radar for a lot of people. I enjoyed it, though. Here is a little bit from that.
A special assignment in an undisclosed location.
As an elite sniper, are you presently under any private or military contract?
No, there's not a lot of reasons for me right now.
What if I gave you a reason?
There she is. West Tower Observation Post. Your home for the next 365 days. There is no outside communication here.
What's that on the other side?
That is East Tower. Contact with the other side is strictly forbidden.
So what's the mission? To keep people from going in the gorge?
No. You need to stop what's in the gorge from coming out.
What the hell is that?
The gorge is the door to hell. And we're standing guard at the gate.
Truth about this place? What's the truth about the gorge?
The next movie I want to talk about is Companion. This one released January 31st, 2025, and I loved it. It's basically, this story isn't the most original. It's about a robot who doesn't know that she's a robot. She is a companion to Jack Quaid's character, and as the movie goes, she starts to realize that she's not human, and violence ensues. I don't want to give too much away, but I absolutely love this. If you haven't seen it, definitely a great spooky movie worth checking out. The next movie I want to talk about is a movie called Together. This released July 30th, 2025. This is a body horror movie. This one I would recommend you watch if you have a strong stomach. There's a lot of grotesque imagery in this movie. It's a slow burn. It starts off pretty slow, but it builds up over time. It's a little bit depressing, if I'm being honest. It's not the most exciting movie in the world, but it is really, really well done. The cinematography is amazing. The acting is good. Definitely worth a rental if you get a chance. Here is a little bit from that. And last but certainly not least is Frankenstein. This releases October 17th, 2025 in theaters and November 7th on Netflix if you want to wait to see it. It looks unbelievable and the cast is so good. Here's the trailer for that.
My maker told his tale. And I will tell you mine. I remember pieces. love, then I will indulge in rage. Now, run.
Alright guys, and lastly, I want to highlight some of my favorite spooky comics since it's Halloween time. I tend to buy a lot of horror-themed comics just because, again, I'm a huge fan of the genre. The first one I want to show off here is Marvel Presents #1. This is the first appearance of Ulysses Bloodstone. It's got a really cool monster on the front cover there. This is the first appearance of Ulysses, as well as the Bloodstone itself. And then here's Aliens #1. I got it graded at an 8.0. It's the first appearance of xenomorphs in comic books. Next horror book I want to show off here is Tales from the Crypt #38. Now, this is only a 1.5, but these are hard to come across. This is an old, like, golden age 50s horror book, and one of the oldest ones out there. The next book I want to talk about here is Devil Dinosaur #1. I've always been a fan of this cover. That one's a little less spooky than the others, though. The next book I want to talk about here is Weird War Tales #93. This is the first appearance of Creature Commandos. You've got your classic werewolf, Frankenstein, vampire. It's basically Suicide Squad, but with monsters. I really enjoyed the HBO Max series on this one. The next book I want to talk about is Amazing Spider-Man #101. This is the first appearance of Morbius, the living vampire. I love the character of Morbius. I hated the movie, but I love the comic books. The next book I want to talk about here is Werewolf by Night #32. This is the first appearance of Moon Knight, who's one of the coolest characters in Marvel, in my opinion, in the comic books anyways. But this is his first appearance. I got a custom label here for this one. The next horror book I want to show off here is Something is Killing the Children. I've got this graded at a 9.6. This is the first appearance of Erica Slaughter. This is one of the more modern horror comic books that I collect, but definitely recommend this series. And apparently they're going to turn it into a Netflix show at some point, although they've been talking about that for a very long time at this point. Next book I want to show off here is The House of Secrets #92. This is the first appearance of Swamp Thing. So this is a super spooky book and one of the most iconic horror covers of all time. Next book I want to show off here is The Silver Surfer #3. This is the first appearance of Mephisto, who's basically the MCU's version of the devil. This is, again, also an iconic cover. The next horror book I want to show off here is Marvel's Spotlight #5. This is the first appearance of Ghost Rider. This was the very first comic book that I spent over $500 on. Next book I want to talk about here is Tomb of Dracula #10. This is the first appearance of Blade, the Vampire Hunter. He's one of my favorite characters in Marvel. This one is special because it has both the Mark Jewelers and Menon inserts. Both of those are not too common to find on this book. And then last but not least, we have Tomb of Dracula #1. This is the first time that Dracula appears in a Marvel comic book. And this is the first comic book that I ever spent more than $100 on, so very happy to have this one in the collection. Now, if you're wondering about new comic books, I'm currently reading through a series called Cruel Universe that's really good. It's like a throwback horror made by EC Comics. Definitely recommend checking that one out. But guys, this video is getting pretty long here. That's going to do it for me today. As always, thank you for watching, and let me know in the comments what some of your favorite horror things are.